Hello, everybody. Crypto Night in Canada, and Nancy's not here, so I guess I get the honors. Dun, 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 dun. Everybody's here in the house. Look at that. Tim and Nancy. Oh, that's us in the house. It's Mary Claude's in the house. Jason's in the house. StreamYard's in the house. No, that's not us. The freaking Oracle's in the house. The freaking Oracle was in the green room, and then he disappeared, so I don't know where he is, and Ryan's going to be coming on. So, welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, as I promised, I have a guest this evening, and he is one of the community members. And he has, how long have you had your, well, I'll let you say that stuff. But anyway.
Only about 2 weeks.
Only 2 weeks. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let me introduce Ryan Green. He's one of our community members. He is going to tell us a little bit about himself, his dive into the cryptocurrency market, maybe what his tastes are, and what he's learning on the journey, of course. And he's been, how long have you been a community member here?
I've been watching you guys for over a year, or around a year, right?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Since it started.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's quite
well, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan Green. And Ryan, the name of your YouTube channel is?
Building Blocks Blockchain.
Perfect. So tell us a bit about yourself. What's cooking with you?
Well,
and who are you?
I was just a crypto enthusiast and blockchain. I love the whole idea, the whole concept. So diving into it, I find that a lot of people don't know about it or understand it, right? About blockchain and blockchain technology, right? So just, trying to explain a little bit on how it all operates and what it is, right? And people just don't understand the underlying technology itself. Right. So I find that quite interesting, the code and everything like that and how it all works. And you're kind of dealing with AI, right, for the most part, a trustless system. So I just find that whole entire process extremely interesting. Right. And so I believe it's the future.
What is it that's hooked you on it? Like
the trustless system.
Was it the blockchain that was the gateway to cryptocurrency, or was it cryptocurrency that was the gateway to the blockchain?
Bitcoin. It was Bitcoin.
There we go. That's for Len.
Right. And, you look at just the whole point of decentralization, right? And having that peer-to-peer and trustless, right? No human intervention other than you just sending that transaction and it being confirmed on the blockchain. That is crazy. And the whole incorporating it into different aspects of life, right? With real estate or supply chain, the possibilities for blockchain is crazy.
Yeah, and you basically
I find it extremely interesting. Yeah.
I was going to say, you just need it that way. If you want to be decentralized, that's the way it has to go. So that's perfect.
Yeah. And I think decentralization is a good thing, right? I think not relying on your these centralized banks all the time, right? Where they control all that, and the governments, they print the money. We've seen it with the COVID pandemic, right? Look at what's going on with the world, right? I mean, having that decentralized currency is kind of a benefit. I think that's what we're seeing right now. People are starting to look towards it.
What is your I mean, you can answer, don't answer, but what is your top cryptocurrencies? Or maybe you may have just one.
Well, no, I've got a couple. I do have a couple. So ADA is basically my number one. I love the you follow Charles or whoever, you kind of see what he's doing and how he's actually trying to implement it into different aspects, right? He's not just worried about ADA, the currency itself, but he's trying to expand it to, internet and AI and everything like that. So seeing somebody that's more involved into bringing it to life, right? Where it's not just about an NFT or something like that. It's, he's doing a lot of stuff, a lot of good things with the internet and World Mobile and stuff like that. So that's what it drives me for that one. I'm a big fan of obviously Bitcoin too. Ethereum is, for me, not so much.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I like Solana, or I like layer 2 ETH, like Polygon, stuff like that. Right.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more interesting. I think the layer 2 little gas fees aren't insane. Right. Like I've got a couple NFTs and sitting there and looking at the gas fees on some of these NFTs, you're just like stay away from it. Right. But no, I mean, XRP is a good one too. And like, when you start seeing how they want to work around the world, right? Banks. I mean, what was it a couple weeks ago? CIBC, right, is now kind of coming forward and saying that they're using it. So whether or not they're using XRP or the RippleNet, right?
Right. I think it's more Ripple.
But
yeah, I think they're more. It's
on probably more Ripple, right? Yeah, it's more.
But still,
more Ripple,
I mean, it's still
having that.
just,
and with them with the liquidity hub, that kind of is interesting to me, right? Having that, I know it's not for us, not even close for us. It's for the banks and institutions, but I mean, that's quite interesting too, right?
I don't know if you saw an earlier cast. We were Jack Mallers. He was big with the. Oh my God, I'm going blank. Help me out here. Strike? No. What?
No.
Jack Mallers. What was his product?
Oh dear God.
Len, quickly type. Oh, I'm going blank.
Yeah, it was that. There's that.
Strike.
I thought it was
so.
Strike. I thought it was Strike or something. Strike, maybe. That card, right?
No, it's the network. It was the network that
yeah,
he
but
was using that was hooked up to PayPal or
exactly. Yeah, I say card, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking
Lightning Network. Oh, thanks, Nance. Look it. There she is. There's the peanut gallery Lightning Network.
Oh, you're looking for the Lightning Network.
Camera. Strike. See, there you go.
Strike.
See?
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. Using the Lightning Network.
It's coming. I mean, it's coming. It's I think that's, there are parts of that we can use up here, but I think mostly in the United States and other parts of the world, you're seeing the how fast stuff is being transacted and the quickness and speed and where I saw, was it, I don't know if I posted it or not, but Visa was actually had job ads out or was trying to recruit people in order to come in and start to develop more of the, I'm going to call it for a general term, the blockchain-y quick networks and so on and so forth, because they know they stand on the sidelines here and all they're going to smell is the gasoline vapors of the engine going by them. You know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah, the writing's on the wall.
That's that's it, right?
Well, I mean, it's, I don't know if you've been following, but it's this, oh my God, I'm a senior moment. Who's the dude with Terra, owns, or is one of the creators of Terra, is now the second largest owner of Bitcoin?
That's crazy.
I think he's even surpassed Saylor now. If I'm correct in saying that.
Saylor might. I think didn't Saylor say he's got over 104,000?
And Saylor just bought some more a couple days ago.
Yeah.
With,
Well, MicroStrategy,
he did it with MacroStrategy this time.
That's right.
So
the sister. Yeah.
Do Kwon. That's it. Thanks, MC.
But that's the thing. The amount of Bitcoin right now that Terra is buying is so large, they can't do it all at once.
No, they're doing 125 million or something a day.
125 million a day. So we've now got this constant amount of liquidity coming into Bitcoin. If anything, it would be almost impossible to see it go down right now while this is happening, because we've just got this insane amount coming in.
Well,
I mean, I think
that's the thing that worries me, right? Is when you get these big whales buying that much, for something that's not supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Manipulated. They're manipulating it.
They are, but at the same time, you got to realize what this is also doing is they're drying up the Bitcoin available on the exchanges.
Yep.
And that price of Bitcoin, it has to do with, demand. And the demand is there and the amount is not. So that price is going to, if we didn't hit an all-time high by the end of all of this, I would be absolutely flabbergasted. So I'm all in. I'm at that point. I'm just all in. It's like I see what's happening, and
don't get me wrong. I think
with the good news around the world. Right?
Yeah, I'm still dollar cost averaging $5 a day into Bitcoin, $5 a day into Bitcoin. But this is don't you think this is potentially a double-edged sword in the fact that for as much as Do Kwon is accumulating and purchasing all the Bitcoin, the moment he decides to get a little greedy and start to cash out, we're going to have the adverse effect, and that's going to with the Bitcoin, don't you think? Like, I mean, that's the problem with it. It's like this guy is the courtship's going to end with this guy sooner or later.
It's a cycle. It's going to go up, and then we know eventually it's going to go down. And the way I like to handle it is I will buy a lot when we're down around, between 30 to 40,000. Then when we're up at the top, that's how I funded my channel, to be honest. I bought at 30,000 back last spring. I rode it up to the all-time high. I cashed out a bunch of profits, bought my MacBook Pro, and got myself all set up. So, if you play the market correctly, there's money to be made. But, there's always a risk with trying to time the market, like a huge risk.
Yeah. And Mary Claude said that Mary Claude is bringing up a good point that he also has the UST. Now, is that the Tether that he's got? Like, I thought USDT was Tether. Is this the same dude that is part of Tether?
It's not Tether. It's different.
UST is different. Because
it's part of Terra.
I've not heard of UST.
It's part of Terra. It's their own stable coin.
Yeah,
that's being tied to Bitcoin as its backing, opposed to
It's Luna.
That's right.
Yeah,
not tuna. Got it. All right. Well, there he is, Mr. Hemsley. What's going on?
Not much. I was kind of so the other day I bought more into I know it's only a penny stock and it really wasn't that much, but I added more into Neptune. I was feeling really good about crypto. So I'm kind of on Candace's side. And then I literally just came across this like 10 minutes ago, dude. It was like right before the show. And I was like, holy crap. Because it just freaked me out. I'm going to share my screen, but it also goes to show that there's obviously two sides to every coin. But can you see that?
Just a sec. There it is. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. So because of the massive amount of inflow going into Bitcoin, right? That's what's getting me all like hot and bothered too. I'm like all on this train. I didn't go crazy with Bitcoin or anything. I just added a bit more to my crypto. But this was just one of the signals. And by the way, Crypto Quant, anyone can go look that up. Their data is absolutely top notch. But I mean, obviously our inflows are crazy. So are you guys thinking that there's maybe going to be this sustained demand? And this, like, what are you guys thinking about the institutional inflow? And because like the Michael Saylors out there can't really sell without creating havoc. But I feel like all the other guys, why wouldn't they be just flipping off in tops? I don't know.
So what you're asking is why wouldn't the other people be selling off?
I mean, if they want to. I mean, I'm just saying because you can go, some data says it's going to the moon. Other data says we're right. I mean, it doesn't, who knows what's going on, right? But well, I just.
So that's a good point, because just maybe this Do Kwon is escalating it so much that what he's doing is using the psychology of it to have people sell off. As soon as they sell their coins, he's sniping in on them. Then they can't. And as Candace says, it's just diminishing the supply on chain right now.
This is like a website, like an analytics website called Crypto Quant.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like a dude or whatever. But yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting because obviously the inflows are going through the roof lately. I would worry about profit takers now at this point too. That would be my only thing.
I don't know.
I'm not taking profit though.
Well, no. I mean, it's
just
I
DCA,
don't think
right?
so. I mean, it's we've got to see, as Tim Perry says, Bitcoin has its time in the sun, and then it comes to ETH, and then it hits the altcoins, and then it hits this and this and this and this and this. And it's like we're waiting for the recession. It's just all the indicators are there. It's just not happening. And this is what's happening with Bitcoin. It seems that all these indicators are here, and it's just not happening. And it's so crazy to try and understand. We're not trying to time this by any means because we can't, but just trying to understand the logic, because from day to day, this could swing, well, sometimes, fairly wide, without any necessary true reason. It's just someone said something, or something allegedly happens in the world, and away we go, right?
The only thing I would argue on that is that it hasn't been as bad as it used to be. And I think as we get more and more institutional investment in it, that volatility is not going to be as wide. We'll still have big swings, but I don't think we're going to have a situation where all of a sudden we go from 40,000 down to 20,000. I think that's almost literally impossible at this point.
Wow, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, what in God's name would create it to do something like what event would happen that it would take a 50 or that much of a hit? Like,
you'd have to have the Elon and Saylor to sell, right? You'd have to have all those whales sell. That's the only way that you'd really be able to tank the market that hard.
I guess.
Well, not even. You'd have to have people trying to sell with just an extreme limited amount of buyers. So I think the only thing that could happen that could maybe trigger like a friggin' massive event would be if there was some striking interest rate spiking, maybe, or some striking legislation in the States that limited access, maybe. But I couldn't even imagine that happening. But it would have to be.
There's too many
out of
avenues.
control.
Here's a crazy question, and it's a question, and it's just for conversation's sake. But why do we get so tied up with cryptocurrencies when cryptocurrencies is supposed to be decentralized? Number one. Number two, it's supposed to be worldwide, and what we do is what we do with it. And yet we put so much emphasis on what the United States has its role in this with. How come?
I think it's just the USD.
I mean, the U.S. pretty much is the center of most things. But keep in mind, even though cryptocurrency is decentralized, regulation really isn't.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I still follow the SEC. I still follow what they're doing in the Fed and stuff like this, and all these people down in the US. And I'm trying to understand what their play is and why they're not approving the ETFs. And Canada has just gone gangbusters doing the ETFs, right? They were the first out of the block, and the US seems to be dragging their heels on so much. And
did you hear?
Is it? Sorry.
Did you hear the news on Grayscale?
No.
Okay, well, the CEO of Grayscale has come out and said that if the SEC doesn't approve their spot Bitcoin ETF when it's due in July, they're going to sue them.
Huh. Great.
Wow.
Could he have said, get Ripple fixed first and then sue? It's like, I'm on my little Ripple paddle boat here, and I'm going, come on.
Other than the fact that this time the lawsuit would be coming from Grayscale opposed to the SEC trying to step in.
Are they really? Is Grayscale really that powerful? The big, or like, do they really have that much pull in that, or is it just they're just causing crap because they can cause crap and they're having a temper tantrum?
I think they're big enough that people will listen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have Bitcoin Trust already, and their Bitcoin Trust is pretty massive. So. And
Proper's different, isn't it?
Who?
Isn't it? What's up here? Proper? No.
Purpose.
Thank you. I knew it. CP. I'm in the right ballpark, just the wrong seat.
Well, Purpose has a spot Bitcoin ETF.
No, I know. Yeah, but they're not as big as Grayscale, are they?
No.
And yet they were the first to get one of the first to get approved.
And the interesting thing with the Grayscale Trust right now is you can buy in and you're actually getting a discount on Bitcoin. So if that then turns into a Bitcoin, into a spot ETF, you could potentially make a lot of money that way.
So, Ken, this is Ryan. Ken's the strong silent type. Ryan, that's Ryan.
Yeah, picked it up. Nice to meet you, buddy.
How you doing?
So what's your thought on all of this, Ken?
Alts are going nuts, I can tell you that much. I'm seeing coins that haven't moved in about 6 months starting to move now.
Like what?
Shiro Inu, Mononoke Inu. Yeah.
Mononoke's an old name. Wow, I haven't heard that.
I
in a
would
long
say
time.
one thing, one of the metaverse coins this week almost doubled.
What?
Yeah.
Ugh. Is it something one of us holds?
Don't know.
Probably not.
To start with.
But it would definitely be a real jewel if you did.
Oh, Jewel coin.
Oh.
And nobody holds Jewel, and that's our luck.
Well, and what's going on? You know what? I wish Tim Perry. Well, you're going to have to get if Tim Perry hits out west there. I got to find out what's going on with Kitty. I haven't talked to that guy about any of this. I'd be interested to know what's going on with Kitty and all those other ones.
I haven't even looked at that chart in a while.
Yeah, because it's been quiet, and they were supposed to be. I mean, the last time Tim was talking about it, they were supposed to be doing some releases and stuff, but that was what, a couple of months down the road, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they had that Zero Dark month.
Yep.
Zero Dark 30 that they did, right? So, and I haven't heard anything from them since.
Mary Claude is saying Mononoke had a big announcement today.
Yeah, they are working on their game now. They've decided to partner with a different company to create it.
Okay.
Kitty, right? You bought Kitty in the early 8,000s, I think it was, Tim.
Yep.
And it's at 1952 right now. So.
Okay.
That tells you what it's been doing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what were you posting about saying?
It might be one of the ones that gets kissed by these altcoin pumps. You never know.
Yeah. It's tough to know what's going on. I mean, this is why I don't like holding a lot of coins.
Yeah.
Well,
I
don't
just.
It's not a mainstream coin either, like a
No.
Cardano or something, right? So
No.
This is totally different. This is you're holding in fear, right?
Well,
Any
that's
coin like this. I've got tons that I hold in fear, but
Yeah.
I've only invested what I can afford to lose, right? So if I hold it, if I hold a coin and it becomes crap, okay, there's not saying that down the road some other devs won't pick that coin up and try and do something with it. So there's been a lot of rug pulls. Yeah, there's been a lot of rug pulls where other devs have come in and tried to save the project, take it over, so.
Hey, what was that one coin we were looking at on your show Friday? And we couldn't find anyone on LinkedIn or anything. What happened?
I'm still investing in it.
Was that the banana one?
Banana.
Was that it?
Banana Task Force Ape. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm still investing.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not going to laugh at Ken because we laugh, and then he makes a ton of money.
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I want him to make money.
Yeah. I don't have the heart for it.
Some people have the stomach, some people don't. You know, it's just
it's
the way it is. But this year, I have a goal of $1 million, and I'm making my moves. And you know, like that PLNT.
How much? How much?
$1 million. Why not?
Good for you, brother.
It can be done. It can be done.
It's
like that PLN. It's like that PLNT thing that I was farming at 6,000%, right? One YouTuber did a video of it, and the next day it went down to 600% APY. So,
did you ever check into VVS?
I know that. Why do I know that? VVS.
That's the one from on the Kronos chain.
I don't have any, but
That
VVS does sound familiar to me for some reason.
Yeah, it's on the crypto.com app. But but that's some percentage too. You're looking at a couple thousand for that one too.
Yeah. Well, it won't take long before everybody sees it. They'll go ahead, they'll buy it. When they buy it, then that price will spike. And if you're already a holder, you have a choice. Either you stake it, farm it, or sell it, right? So
well, in true Canadian fashion, we always want to buy at the height.
I want to buy, but I always buy before it hits the market.
That's what all the newbies buy. And it's like, and then it crashes. It's like, this thing is shit. And it's like,
what happened?
I know.
you know, it's like picking up a piece of street meat that someone's dropped and eating it, going, must have been better when it was hot. You know, I don't know.
5-second rule.
Then you got to explain dollar cost averaging, right?
Yo, Tim, can I share my screen again? I was asking Ken about this. You remember I was asking you if that was one I wanted to like try risking my friggin' life for or whatever?
Yeah.
It launched on. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
So did you get in on the launch itself, or
no, on gate.io. So like every other freaking coin, it like moons instantly for like 5 minutes and then crashes off to a nothing burger. I missed it. I didn't do it, bud, but
but you have to remember though, when I looked at that, right, there was the vetting process. So
what do you mean? Oh, not for gate.io. Like I
could not for gate.io, but you see that big candle, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the big sell-off. That sell-off is not the people that bought the pre-sale because they're not allowed to sell. So that whole sell-off was people that actually bought on gate.io. So that would have actually been a really good one to get into.
That would have been sweet, man. Yeah, well, missed it. It friggin' mooned.
Well, hey, that's the first step. You're recognizing. You're like, hey, man, I should have. See, that's the first step. That's the first step.
It's driving me nuts. The stuff
and Solana killed it this week, says Cannabis Driver. I know. I love it. Didn't take long for Solana to blow up. I was psyched. Everything's been killing it, but
wow.
I think I bought it at 88 and it's at like 130 or something.
Yeah, I cashed out of that ADA and I went into Polkadot.
And
Polkadot's not bad.
What's Polkadot sitting at right now?
Polkadot's not bad.
I have no idea.
Tim bought in at 25 and it's sitting at 16.
I don't know. It's over 20 right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because I still get my little messages saying, "Oh, you've earned this much on the dot and this and that and that." So I don't know.
Did you ever own Voyager Digital stock? Because they're
absolutely. And remember I told you about 2 months ago, just before Christmas, I cashed out and they made a boatload.
Okay, because I noticed you can't even buy them if you wanted to on Wealthsimple anymore. Like they're just
mine was through RBC.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Doesn't Wealthsimple take the if they don't have high volume, they take it off?
No, it's not that. It's the clearing. It's something to do with the clearinghouse. Like it's the same reason why Disney itself won't trade on Wealthsimple.
Yeah.
How did the taxes go, Candace, using the Wealthsimple for crypto and that integration there? Did it work okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I had absolutely no problem, and I did both mine and Jill's taxes.
Yeah.
I found it very easy, very intuitive, very easy to import information into it.
Yeah.
The only thing is you do have to, if you have more than 500 transactions, you're going to have to pay Coinly. But
yeah, I know. I had to upgrade.
Yeah, the reality is it's much easier to just pay than to go back and manually do that. Unless you've been tracking it manually all through the year, you're probably going to end up paying Coinly for it.
Yeah.
Does Coinly, so Coinly's basically then for Candace and Tim, this is like the H&R block for crypto, or like what is this?
What it does is
filing-wise.
it grabs your exchanges and then it grabs the history of all your transactions, and it figures out, what you bought at, trades. It follows everything that you've done on that particular exchange for every particular coin or event that takes place, and then it all puts it in one big and spits it out. And
okay, well, it's mandatory. Have you guys ever tried printing out the Shakepay? Whatever they try to present to you, it looks like robot code straight out of Star Wars or something. It actually makes no sense, where I'm like, I wonder if they're working with Coinly, because I can't read this. It was ridiculous.
Open it up in Excel. It's comma separated values.
It looked ridiculous. I'm like, I'm not going through every transaction. There's like 18 pages. It's like, forget you.
No.
Forget this.
Coinly, you'll thank yourself later.
Yeah. Someone heard me talking about Kitty and needed to defend it, or to bring us up to date on it. So without further ado,
what's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
Yo,
just fudding Kitty over here. Just fudding.
No, just facts. Just facts. Hey, I looked at the chart, man.
What's the facts? The price doesn't mean anything right now. I mean, because especially, we could knock Satama too, but Satama's not a bad coin. It's just meme coins get absolutely pounded.
Except for Satama's not a meme coin anymore. Remember, they dropped the Inu.
They dropped it.
Right. Technically, Kitty's not acting like a meme coin because every meme coin's up about 30x right now.
Yeah, but what we're saying is we haven't heard any information.
No. I know. I'm exaggerating.
Right?
So basically, what they're doing is they know what their talent is right now. They've got their game is in beta. It's gotten raving reviews, and basically what's happened is they've halted all marketing and everything until they get their new website out with the demos. There's gonna be a free demo right on the website, and that's gonna be like their proof of concept, because they're gonna then have a centralized exchange at some point. That'll be, and who knows, obviously they're eyeing a much bigger, central exchange than I think most people are hoping for, and they need to have proof of concept, proof of work, right? Because these days,
without a utility, the exchange won't touch them.
Yeah, so they want to see the game in working product. So this is like kind of their big thing, and just like they said, because I kind of was like, okay, like I know that they're developing the game, and I knew that they're busy, and it's not like they got a big team. They're still a small team. So I was wondering, curious, like, why am I not at least seeing some sort of marketing? Because they were, shooting off on all cylinders in December, January. And they said, and this was a really good answer. They said, why start marketing now when they're going to go to our website when we got like a 3D with a demo, like a 3D site with demo, plus their new metaverse coming out that they're going to unleash. So like this girl's like a computational physics degree. Like this girl's not stupid, and they're marketing and everything. So basically what they're doing is they're just waiting, which should be any day now. They said March 25th, don't hang them if they don't make it on that date, but around March 25th, they have the new website. And from that, they're going to start firing off on all the marketing. But like I've obviously, thanks to Ken, I took a look at meme coins. And I'm up a 30x right now in Stilton. Well, actually, I took all the profits and I'm waiting for a dip. So playing that pretty well. But Kuma too is another coin I'm in. All these coins, like all it took was Kuma, because Kuma had 8 million in liquidity, right? You want liquidity for the big names to come in. So I get in this Kuma the other day, maybe 20 days ago, and it just sits there, doesn't do anything. And now all of a sudden, wham. So these coins will not, like, will you make steady, good money in, you know, I was watching the show earlier, your Cardanos, your dots, all this? Sure, absolutely. But like life-changing gains are going to be in these minute coins. Like right now, Root's going crazy. Root's already flying back up. I think it's at $6 from its bottom of 2 the other day. Yeah, Kyle got me to check out the cross swap. It is incredible. You know, you can cross swap now. You want a coin on a different exchange, you can swap it all using Root, and it costs 30 cents. I mean, yeah, it's stupid. And you pay in Root, so you have to pay in Root. So all the signs are there that Root, and you look at all the cross chains, other like Rune right now, Thor chain, AnySwap, all running like crazy. DeFi is starting to perk up. If anyone's been watching, all the DeFi, Aave is up like 30% the other day. Zilliqa is going absolutely bonkers right now because everyone's moving NFTs to Zilliqa. So like you see DeFi starting to perk up again. I don't know what this means for the market because I flipped very, very cautious bull. A lot of my favorite charters have also said that this is the dump, that we're going to dump to 28K now and then we go up. So I don't know. I'm a little worried, but you know, my resistance was 45.5 before I flipped bullish, and we did that, but we haven't tested it yet. So I don't know. But if coins run, man, like these meme coins, like Stilton's done a 30x. Actually, it's done. Technically, I bought in later. Stilton did a 60x in the past 20 days, 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
all careful though. What goes up comes down really quick in the DeFi, right?
Exactly. And I sold, and it's already down like 40%, and I'll buy in when it comes back down later. But that coin for meme coins is just killing. You know, it's got the liquidity, it's got all the big influencers, which I don't love. But at the same time, if you're going to play the game, you have to follow them. But then that also makes you know that they're going to sell at some point. And what you want is liquidity. You know, like there's 5 million in volume, actually 9 million now in Kuma today alone, because they got 8 million in liquidity. So that means all the whales can buy into this and sell out and not kill the coin, and they don't lose any money. So you want these meme coins like that.
So Tim, what you said something that, you know, when all the influencers get a hold of it and stuff like that. So when a coin gets on and you start to hear it bubbling with influencers and all this and that, is that the kiss of death?
It's like the euphoria part, right? Like, yeah. And it's tough because if you're in something like a Root or an Aave, while you need influencers at the start maybe to get it going, but that's just going to result in pump and dumps and all this, their utility speaks for itself. Like you don't need, Root doesn't need influencers. Its product will speak for itself. But you know, if we have to admit, meme coins are pretty much community hype driven. Yeah. I mean, SHIB for the longest time, this is why I thought Ken was crazy, but he made all that money. SHIB was just we're just dope, like little brother. Like that's all it was, but it built this community and it went crazy. But unfortunately, you need people to pump it. So you need these hype influencers, and you got to know that they're heavily in it if they're going to be, you know, and half the time now they're getting free coins right out at the gates, right? They get offered it by the devs, you know, oh, please pump it. And of course, you know,
actually now devs are actually changing that. They're paying them in ETH because they're tired of the whole pump and dump.
That's a smart move. I did not know that. And then there's also, sorry, Ken.
No, you go ahead, Tim.
No, I interrupted him, so that was my bad. But like Kitty Inu was, and I know Ken's mentioned this now too with meme coins, which is also changing, is, and you can see it in their contracts, is that they're doing no pre-sales, which means that they're not giving out coins out before. Now, obviously, I still think they're letting other, you know, influencers know, hey, we're going to be releasing this coin, and they'll probably buy it out the gate, right out the gate. But one thing that I love that Kitty did was they banned / blocked something like 90 billion worth of because obviously these coins have bloated circulations, and I'm way off on what they banned, but it was a significant amount of bot that bought right out the gates. Bots will buy, you know, these coins, and then they'll drop it on everyone, and it'll cause price fluctuations. They blocked all those accounts. So you're seeing a lot of like these meme coins. Like I said, meme coins are like, it's like folk music, you know, hip hop starts in the underground, then it grows, and now like rap's mainstream. It's same with like meme coins. Meme coins have all these cool utilities. Like my 2 rug pulls that, you know, it sucked. I still love their idea. Will I ever like jump back into that idea? No, but that idea eventually will be caught up in the mainstream. So you see all these wild ideas down at the bottom, right? So
are you surprised about Terra?
No, because and you don't want to hear this because your money's with us, but I mean, I had 10K in Luna at $5 in the summer. At $5. So we'd be up at 25x with 10K. Yeah, that's punishing. And that was all Neil though. Like Neil has a gift, man. I swear to God, we don't like Neil really gets and he's insanely, he's more passionate about this than even I am in crypto. Like, and when he got in it, he swung and he was just going to bat about Luna, talking about how the US, you know, T and how it'll play. Cause obviously when you buy UST, it takes Luna out the market. Maybe Candace would know better how that works. How does it work with the stable to their coin? Do you know, Candace?
I'm not clear on it 100%, but I do know what you said is right. That when you're taking Luna out of the market, it increases UST. So they kind of almost work conversely.
Yeah. And then
that's how it's going to work with Bitcoin as well, which is going to be interesting. And they're going to make money either way, no matter what happens.
Exactly. Right. And then like you saw that model, and I wish I took more of a like, because I was just going on Neil's hype. I was like, that's cool. And then there was a really good farm on DeFi for it. So that's kind of what incentivized me to get it. And then the minute the farm was over, I sold it. And then I watched it literally like in 2 weeks do like an 8x. Even at the time, it went to like $40, and I was just like, "You got to be kidding me!" But like it's like Root too, right? Root went to $14 after I sold into Kitty Inu, and it went. But your DCA challenge, well, I don't do it every week, is me as Kitty Inu because their game, the reviews on the game are just insane. And I'm also in another play to earn called Weapon, which has been running like a monster lately. It's up 150% in about a week. And they've got a staking model coming, which I'll obviously stake. I don't have a lot of Weapon, but those two seem to be getting like the paired up. Like you'll notice even like Zilliqa right now, guaranteed VeChain. And I've already just noticed maybe 20 minutes ago while you guys were talking, I was looking, VThor or whatever they call it. The kind of like, you know, how T-Fuel goes with Theta. Right, yeah. It just spiked massive. So Zilliqa used to always be paired with VeChain. Like you always see these weird little, and this runs. And sometimes they decouple and stuff like this. But like Kitty and Weapon seem to go together. So this guy I've been following, I've told Tim about it. And I'll pump him because I think he deserves it. But just be careful. He's human like all of us. But his name's NZ Trader. And he's got this algorithm that like I've seen him. And this is where I started like, okay, this guy's not just, you know, he's a bit, you know, sure of himself, but so far he has reason. His algorithms are calling like Weapon, Kitty, and he's big on Weapon, Kitty, Kuma, Stilton, all these ones. Well, I've kind of followed him in on these because he called like a pump on, I think it was Kuma on like January 16th. And it was like 3 weeks before that. And literally January 16th, his algo, like sometimes his algo is too crazy. His algo even called Kitty to move the otder day, and it went from 1.7 to 2.2 the other day. And then he said from there, that's the bottom, and then Kitty's going to start running, which obviously coincides with their release on stuff. So this guy's got like an impressive, like, you know, algorithm that seems to call a lot of shots. And he's not calling for a bearish; he's calling for a pretty good altcoin run. So we'll see. Not to get everyone's hopes up.
I'm not understanding how these products and these coins that are coming out, I forget what you call it, but it wasn't Root that was 30 cents to exchange on the exchanges and stuff, but how more of these are being used, and yet it's not defying the power of Ethereum. Is it just that none of these you can build applications on, and Ethereum you can? Is that what the strength? Like, why is Ethereum with all these cheaper gas fee ways of doing things coming out? How come Ethereum's not getting rocked more? Liquidity.
The ability to move in and out and get big sums of money. The whales are still in Ethereum. And that's why, like, you look like I've been scouring the, you know, like I said, I owe Ken a lot of, you know, I was just teasing him earlier, but like meme coins are, in my opinion, meme coins will run 10 times as hard. The problem is meme coins they come down a lot faster too, but they'll go up a lot faster if we get bullish. So it's this thing. And obviously it doesn't take, it takes a certain stomach to handle that. And now where I see where it's going, as long as you get in like this Kuma's from the SHIB deployer. So it's got all the SHIB devs and stuff like on it. So I'm like, okay, well, SHIB hasn't taken off with the money. So that's safe. Cause obviously I've learned my lesson from getting rugged that I'm not just jumping in a coin now. At least Ken plays memes, but Ken plays it smart because Ken will wait a bit. He won't go on the thing. He'll watch it. And then he'll play a pre-sale maybe, but he'll get out right away, but he'll wait until it comes down and he'll have, research done because he doesn't want to lose his money, which is a smart way to go. And I've taken that route now. So like, Kuma, Stilton, all these ones, like I had done while they're still not docs devs. They've got, all these connections you can see through the blockchain and stuff like this, but then liquidity, like I said, Kuma's got 8 million in liquidity. So there's not a surprise that all of a sudden, all you see is Kuma today all over my feed. Well, the whales knew where to go. And of course there was like $1 million. Someone did a $780,000 buy of Kuma today.
Ugh.
In one Swift.
You're welcome.
Yeah. there goes Ken's million that he just made.
Off.
So yeah, like it's going to be interesting, but like, and once again, I've got my route to hedge because I've always been high on route. And now that I'm seeing what it can do in a bullish thing and with DeFi coming and stuff like that, I think route's my safe bet.
So is it fair to say that we're starting to get a bit of a bullish feeling in the market and it's starting to do things in an upright, in an up curve a bit, right?
I mean, we wanted to
say that it's looking that way. I didn't say it is. It's just looking that way. Okay.
Yeah, but the problem sorry.
So the second thing I say is that remember last year when it started doing this, and all of a sudden tax season and all this came in, and everyone gets out. Is that going to just take the legs out from all of this stuff that's been happening, or do you perceive it as just saying no? Doesn't matter. That's not going to be a consequential event.
Well, I mean, it really, but like the one thing that drives me nuts, like sure you do get some black swan events that are caused by actual real world events, but tax season, in my opinion, is not one of them because there is a whole world around the world right now that trades crypto. It's not just Canada and the States that can dictate that much, inflow of money. So like I've always heard like, oh, it's Chinese New Year, it's this, and I'm like, yo, like I've got buddies not even buddies, but then you've got these accounts like this algorithm guy. When the Russia flood and all this was coming in, and everyone's thinking, oh my God, we're like the sky is falling. This guy literally called the bottom of ETH. He goes, ETH will not go any lower than like 2,300 or whatever. And then we move up and we start having, and his algorithm, he's like, if it doesn't move by last week, he goes, if we don't move by this week, all my algorithms are invalidated. We're in big trouble. But he goes, I only missed 3 times, like 3 strikes. I never lose. And sure enough, this thing goes. So like I always follow accounts. I watch accounts that have better hit strikes. Nobody's perfect. But I think Candace had mentioned, I had mentioned that 45.5 was a big one that we wanted to crack. Or around there, I think, Candace, you were about right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we cracked it. We haven't really tested it yet, so we'll have to see that. But like that was a big hurdle in my opinion. So it's flipping, cautiously bullish because I think all of us are traumatized from, everyone keeps saying how bullish this past year was. Like, I don't know for most of us, but most of our coins went steadily down for the whole year. Other than if you were in a couple L1s like, Solana and Avalanche and stuff like that. But everything else, and a couple meme coins went nuts. But other than that, like DeFi, like so many coins I mentioned, Union, are all just boom, straight down. So there is a case to say that we have actually been in a bearish trend for much longer, and they're actually just coming out now, which is some people are saying with the extended charts. I mean, I don't know if Kyle's watching, but Kyle, man, like little 21-year-old kid, like he's been telling me, oh no, we're gonna start rising in March, April, and this chart and this, and I'm like, I don't know, I hope so, man, because I'm wrong right now on everything, and he's pulling it off. So like, there's some people who, have got my eyes tweaked to maybe this is it, but obviously I'm not going to jump up for joy anymore and think and be like start picturing myself like to financial freedom, because my heart always gets ripped out of my chest when we drop back down.
Yeah, don't get too excited.
No, I'm not anymore at all.
Unbelievable. Hey,
Yeah.
Candace.
Don't you think that a lot of that has to do with the just the media, the way that the media, like a lot of people look at crypto and they see it on the news, CNN doesn't matter, and they get fearful or
Right.
Right?
I mean that.
Because I mean, like even for Canada, like you look at that PC guy that was
Right,
talking about.
He was at
Bitcoin and
Tahini's.
buying it.
He was at Tahini's. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yep.
you look at that, the news, right? It's the news that drives that fear, right?
Yep. And
If
I saw some
crashes, right? No, it's all good. Yeah.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I didn't know you were done. Yeah, well, the one good news though on the other side is Russia is now accepting their friendly countries. Not that I'm big on Russia, and I'm just saying from a Bitcoin point of view, Russia is now accepting their friendlies to give money in Bitcoin for their oil, and they're back in the gold standard. And this, like Ryan and I have tried to say, this is the problem. You've got the G7 countries, and this is where I'm saying watch how war goes, because while the right hand's saying, look over here, the left hand's doing something else. I don't agree with any war. I'm just saying that. But like this perfect storm is rising right now in which the West is going to get absolutely hammered economically. I don't know if anyone's ever read a book or heard about Confessions of an Economic Hitman on what the states did to the South America with just economics alone. Oh my God, they've wasted like countries with economics. So that's why I'm like, are we due to learn our lesson? Because we've always had it good in the West. And right now, all these other countries that are, hey, we'll gladly accept the Russian oil and we'll pay in Bitcoin and we'll back it by gold and stuff like that. If there's a gold-backed petrodollar, the states, the US dollar will be like the de facto petrodollar will be pooched. And Canada's dollar just propped up, I think, along with Canada, US and New Zealand. We're done. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
So if we don't
Yeah,
start, Am I wrong or right there, right? Because
No, I mean, I don't even have anything to add. It's 100%. Like they're settling their oil in gold and Bitcoin, right? So this is the thing. They can afford gold. So for countries that can't afford gold, they're hopping on Bitcoin, which is why third world countries are going nutbag for Bitcoin, right? They really don't have access to real physical gold, a small country. So it makes me, again, as that bear or that kind of skeptic on Bitcoin, makes me feel a hell of a lot better when people like central banks, whether they're in countries we're friendly with or not, I don't care. But when central banks are likening Bitcoin and gold, saying, doesn't matter, you pay me in either or, it's the same to me. That to me is kind of bullish for Bitcoin overall. But yeah, the West is pooched. Like you sanction one of the biggest producers of commodities in the entire world, and it only took a month before they realized that they don't need to use the American dollar to trade between themselves anymore. Like that was genius. You know what I mean? That took 30 days. Like what's going to happen in another 30 days?
Yeah,
economically, seriously. So it's like, and then not to mention you have China shutting down for their lockdown right now is next level. I was putting some videos up today, and there's like,
what, because of the sickness?
Yeah, they got cases of Omicron and all that stuff. So they're setting up razor wire outside of your apartment building.
What?
Watch my live stream, bro. Like I put all the videos on. There's even videos like there's suicides are going through the roof. People are jumping out of their apartments. They can't eat. There's no food. Yeah, they're putting tape on truckers' doors so that when you cannot leave your truck if you're delivering a load. Like you are isolated, literally, like I've never seen isolation like this. But yeah, you should check out some of the videos down there. And that's only going to impact us. Well, we haven't even seen the inflation numbers for the war. So let's just see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Then let's see what happens with the shutdowns and you know what I mean? So.
And they're all like, I mean, BlackRock's little dastardly leader there, Fink, he's warning about entitlement and how we've always gotten what we want and get ready and stuff like this. Trudeau's now saying, oh, because carbon taxes are going up, better be ready. And everyone's just going to, I hate saying it, but so many people are like, because they don't think and they don't like see it. And it's like, we're in for a world of hurt if you're not prepping. And if you're okay with living with less and stuff, you're going to be fine. And if you put your money probably in Bitcoin and gold and silver and stuff like this, you're going to be a lot better off than the people whose, fiat currency is going to just.
I got to back this up and say, Tim Perry, if you have not seen this, and Tim Danter, I told all of you guys, I told you guys about this video the other day, but Ray Dalio's video, The Changing World Order, 43 minutes long. It is good. It is clear and it's obvious as day. It's a really great video to check out.
I'll watch
about this kind of stuff.
Marie, how come they're not all sold out? Because you have to mine the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's only roughly about 18 million that's been mined so far.
Yep.
So with every halving, you'll have the final stuff. Then factor in all the Bitcoin that you can't even access. Like there's that poor soul who's got $25 million roughly in Bitcoin. And the guy's got he's paid all these quantum physicists or quantum computer guys to try to correct, because he gets two, correct me if I'm wrong again, but 2 more chances to get this password. If he doesn't, he never gets to touch this Bitcoin again. So you have a lot of Bitcoin that's gone missing and all this. I can't remember and if anyone knows how much Bitcoin is actually, when you factor in all the stuff that's been, Mount Gox or whatever that's been disappeared, how much is actually out there?
I thought it was around 19 million.
It's possible. Yeah. I don't keep an eye on it.
The beginning, because at the beginning, right, you could have mined, because of the hash rate, right, you were able to mine, I think it was 6.5 Bitcoin per block when you were mining. So, I mean, back then you could have made a lot more money, right?
Yeah.
So I think I was reading something that was around 19 million are actually left. 2 million are just wiped out.
Okay, well that would be 21 million, so not quite there, because that's a great part about Bitcoin. We know that it can't be 19 million if 2 million are wiped out, because that's 21 million. Whereas fiat currency, we have no idea how much they're printing every day.
I still keep going back to the fact that that Duwan and Saylor and all these people that have these big positions in Bitcoin, that it's just going to ruin the party.
Yeah, dude.
I think eventually they'll have to sit there and mine.
I don't know how it's going to be. You could never the richest people on the planet right now already face massive issues because of their wealth. The Bezos and Musk, and they've got a fraction relative to world cash, as opposed to what Michael Saylor owns in totality compared to all of the Bitcoin that'll ever come out. Michael Saylor is 80,000 Elon Musks put together if Bitcoin really is the result. You know what I mean? So he's more powerful than half the countries out there. That's one thing, Tim, that's freaked me out since the beginning, is people are like, oh yeah, but there's whales in fiat. Not on the level. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. And this freaking cat buys it by taking out loans every 30 seconds. And you got other people, and it's just one, his company's irrelevant now. He's just a Bitcoin bank. Yeah. So whether it's micro or macro, whatever you want to buy it with, you're a Bitcoin proxy. So whatever, your whole business is shot. You're staking now. And that's my biggest thing is what if, how could the government really allow Bitcoin to have a foothold with someone like Michael Saylor, who owns so much? You know what I mean?
The war's coming for sure. It's going to be and you hear all this cyber attack stuff from World Economic Forum. You hear all this, they're going to come after it. And Pierre Polivier, the one thing that freaked me out is when he's talking about it like it's going to be illegal one day. I'm going to with Bitcoin. I didn't like the way it was being discussed. It sounded like a bait and switch, because I'm heavily, I don't trust any side of politics. So I'm heavily suspicious of even Polivier there. And we'll see. But Jeff S. From the comments here says there's about 15 million Bitcoin most likely right now, when you factor in all the stuff that's been.
Wow.
Yeah, and how much does the guy from Terra and Saylor own?
Well, they're only in the thousands.
I thought Saylor was. I thought it was 100,000.
All right, they're in the millions for some reason.
If you're in the millions, oh my God.
Maybe millions of dollars, which is it's billions.
Yeah. A funny thing was they showed, I follow a thing that just brings up every now and then. It talks about the old Bitcoin forums, like back in the day when you see Hal Finney talking with Satoshi and stuff. And it just throws it up for a memory. And it brought up like it was an auction for, oh God, I'm already butchering it, 10,000 Bitcoin, I want to say. And it was for $25 for 10,000 Bitcoin, and the auction didn't go. It's like, okay. And then the comment was, okay, we didn't fill for the auction. It didn't meet the bet. So it doesn't move to the other person. It had whoever bet, $19 or whoever got turned down, that 10,000 Bitcoin right now. Oh my God.
Sad, brings a tear to your eyes.
Yeah. Or you could be the pineapple pizza guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Candace, you got your stuff ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's do our weekly update with the alts and stocks, or the metaverse and the stocks, pardon me, and see where we stand. Have we got big changes? I guess we'll find out. Huh?
For sure, absolutely.
All right, here we go.
All right. Welcome, everybody, once again to our top 10 metaverse cryptocurrencies. This week, you're going to see a lot of big numbers. Coins were up, and it shows in the charts. We're going to start off with a new one to the charts, Monavale. They were up 41.3%. They are kind of different. They're a Web3 metaverse for fashion design, indie mod game, and metaverse development. You can stake your NFTs for more Mana, however they pronounce it. They also have this interesting thing called Where to Earn, where you can make Mona from wearing custom fashion NFTs. They also have an interesting thing where you can move between Ethereum and Matic via a Matic ETH bridge. I'm not sure how that works, but that definitely sounded really fascinating. In at number 9, our old friend UFO. They are back again. They were up a big 34.4%. Coming in at 8 was last week's number 5, VFox, and they were up 32.4%, but they still fell. So it shows you how this week has gone. Axie Infinity were up 21.8%, and they fell from 4 to 7. Victoria VR, we haven't seen them for a while. They are the very realistic metaverse. They were up 39.9% and returned in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, this one is odd. It's called Cool Cats Milk. They're up 51.9%. Cool Cats are a collection of random generated NFTs. You can collect, breed, and clothe your cool cats. 20% of the ETH that's made through their marketplace is returned to the community as raffles and contests. It's kind of really an interesting thing. I know that from looking at it, you can breed the cats and you can get eggs, and your egg may not actually give you a cat. It may give you a pet, but the cats are worth more. So it's definitely really interesting. They do have a game as well in there and quests that you can do with your cats to make money. So definitely a weird one. I thought Tim would get a kick out of Cool Cats Milk. In at number 4, we have Realm. They've been here before. They're back again. They were up 61.8%. So huge. All right. Number 3 was Radio Kaka. They're back again. They were up 56.9%. Once again, this is one that's kind of cool because you can do some liquidity farming with them, which is awesome. All right, now the top 2. These are going to be interesting. Number 2 is V Empire DDAO. They were up 91.5% this week. They are basically the largest decentralized metaverse investment organization. You can stake your cryptocurrencies with them. They have different financial rewards, and they have a lot of emphasis on passive income. They also do have a game as well in there, and they run scholarship programs where basically people who know how to play will charge new players so that they can basically play. All right. Number 1, I kind of already hinted at this before. DeFi Kingdoms. They were up 96.6%. You nearly doubled your money in a week if you had invested in Jewel. So this is just absolutely fantastic. They were up last week too, so they've been on a tear lately. Be interesting to see if they can maintain it. Normally, if somebody is up this much, Normally, they tend to fall the week after, so we'll have to see what happens with DeFi Kingdoms. All right, let's go over to the stocks. So the stocks this week, your numbers are not going to be anything like the coins, obviously. We got at number 7, we got Apple. They were there last week. They seem to be happy with number 7. They were up 4.05%. Coming in at 6 was Adobe. They've moved back in. They were up 8.45%. One of the bigger ROIs of the week, actually. Not much we can say about Adobe. They're definitely going to play a major role in the metaverse. Number 5, we got Equix. So Equinox back. Again, they were up 6.14%. And once again, these guys are all about the infrastructure of the metaverse. In at 4, once again, we got Intel. They've come back. They're up 6.38%. They're pretty well this week. One of the only chip manufacturers who actually was doing well. The other chip manufacturers were not doing so hot. Number 3, and we have not seen these guys for a very long time, but Meta, as in Facebook, actually made a return, and they were up 6.45%. So that's definitely interesting. Number 2, they were our number 3 last week, was Matterport. And once again, these are the guys doing the 3D virtual tour stuff, and a lot of their camera technology is fantastic. And number 1, well, they were number 1 last week as well. We got Cloudflare coming in. They were up 5.24%. Once again, this is more all about the infrastructure, edge computing, moving things faster on the metaverse. So that is your metaverse this week. Next week, like I said, looking forward to seeing what happens with those coins.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much. That Meta, because Meta's back on there, I wonder, because Doug Ford was just on our premier for the province of Ontario, and he was down at the Mars complex announcing that Meta was just going to open up and start to operate out of Toronto. So I wonder if that had any bearing on that.
Well, I think it's hard to say. But keep in mind, too, Facebook has taken such a huge amount of losses over the last month and so that it was hard for them not to have some good numbers once the market started to improve. So there may be a little bit of inflation due to that, just because they fell so far.
It's so interesting to see when you compare the stocks to the metaverse tokens or whatever we're calling it there, that the gains that you can make versus stocks versus there. So it proves to you the volatility that's on one side of the fence compared to the volatility that's on the other side of the fence, right?
That's a hard thing. Like, I would never have guessed last week from looking at any of them charts that Jewel was going to be, you're going to double your money on Jewel. You know, it's just one of those things. It's very risky with a lot of these coins for the simple reason that you can invest in, and sure, you could double your money, but you could just as easily half your money.
Yeah.
So you got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll tell you, it's too risky for my blood. I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, God, I would love to double my money, but you know, I expect next week, to see Jewel probably fall right off the charts because of how high they went. But then again, I could be completely surprised.
But what's driving these like, I understand it's the metaverse, but what's driving these gains? Is it adoption? Is it people getting on? Is it more people connecting and playing game? Like, what is driving such huge gains?
There's
you need to go on Dex Tools and have a look at the wallets that are buying, and you'll get your answer from that.
Yeah.
But like, what kind of wallets?
But I mean, that could still, looking at wallets could still just be like, you know, whales and pump and dumpers that are buying before and then letting it run and dumping on people. In crypto, you never really know. I mean, I always use Aave, for example, because I was in Aave in 2017, 2018, early. And obviously I was way too early. That's generally my luck. And when that thing was at like 0.3 of a penny. And I remember everyone saying it was a scam. I was in Matic Polygon at a penny. I wrote it up to 4 cents, and just the amount of FUD that came out on that coin. Oh, it's a scam. It's this and that. And they did this and that. I sold at pretty much break even because it came back down to a penny. I sold and was like, I'm never getting Polygon again. And then all of a sudden I see it at 30 cents. And obviously this is when I bought in later, and I retook a look at it because I knew what it did. But like, I was like, I thought it was a scam. And then I like did a lot more. Oh my God, they've actually done, and you can look at their GitHubs and stuff if you really want to know if they're really, same with this Kuma, you could, all these people were saying that the devs had, disappeared on the coin. All I had to do was either go on GitHub or check out the main deployer, address, and I could see them working and doing all this stuff. So I'm like, they're not saying anything, but they're clearly doing something. So you can see that. But like for most of the thing, we just have to accept that crypto is like 90% hype. Like, I'm sorry, but Solana is not worth the market cap that it's at. That thing goes down. That platform goes down every other day. It's not working. Yeah. You can't transact. For the first time, in all fairness, Polygon had its first, like the other day, it wasn't working at all in its defense, but it made it much like Solana's every other day. But all I still see on my Twitter, Solana. I'd still take Avalanche over Solana, even Phantom. But Phantom I was loving, but Phantom's starting to do the same because as you scale up, that's when you see whether you can play with the big guns, which is why people stick with Ethereum, because Ethereum doesn't go down every other day. So and that's the problem with Cardano still, and all these other ones, like all these layers, they haven't proven their ability to scale and hold that. And until then, ETH's going to be king. And I still don't see ETH being dethroned by anything that I just mentioned because of liquidity and the fact that everything else can't scale to that market. Now, don't get me wrong. Like you guys said earlier, you're going to be paying out your ass in gas, but that's where the liquidity comes in.
Mm-hmm. And I also look at it this way. I mean, the overall market with it going up on the crypto side, when you've got a large influx of money coming into Bitcoin, it just doesn't all stay there. Think of Bitcoin as being like your hand and money being sand. You can pour a lot of sand. You can hold a lot of sand, but there's always sand falling through.
Oh, for sure.
Kind of like the cash, and that cash is going into the altcoins, and that's where we're seeing a lot of those pumps. And keep in mind, it doesn't take as much cash as it does with Bitcoin to move some of those needles really high.
What would be an interesting metric, Candace, is to figure out how many of the older metaverse coins can rightfully come back on the list. Because it almost seems like it's community based, to me at least, almost entirely. Like the value is, I don't see a value in any of these projects. I agree entirely with Tim regarding Solana. I'm only in it, said it the other night, just because there's way too much money in it. So I wanted to ride the train. I don't get it. I'm wondering, to me, it just seems like pure community based and like 5 million people just like Ken recycling their money. And if the community chooses to get on X, then that's what pumps. And then if Y comes out and they like it and the community notices it, then Y gets pumped regardless of their stuff. And like, I bet even with your banana token, Ken, when it failed like the most basic test the other night on the live stream, didn't have any information, I bet you're going to make bank because it'll pump because the community is going to come and flood and go. It's like the same with penny stocks. Like it's literally just recycled cash over and over. And then you're kind of weeding out the losers every time. The group gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So then these wallets grow. You notice more of the same. And that's what it seems like to me. There's only going to be so much run.
I actually do have a wee bit of data, very, very wee bit. Since I've been doing it, I've keep a master list. And I've had one coin that is gone. Everything else is still active and looks fine. But that one was X Crypto Blade. I think they actually made it onto the chart once, but they're gone.
I'm surprised only one, to be honest.
I'm actually surprised too, but so far it's only been one.
What happens? What happens if China goes after Taiwan? Taiwan Semiconductors goes and doesn't ship to North America anymore. What happens? Does Intel become the big boy on the block?
No, and I'll tell you why. I think if China were to go after Taiwan, I think China already understands the gold mine that they would have with the semiconductors. I think they would do everything they could to keep that intact and convert that over to their ownership as fast as possible.
If anything, Taiwan Semiconductors is the best leverage China could have over certain trade and all of that. I think that would probably be just like what Candace said. It would almost be like their gem, their baby almost. Like I would imagine them just, I agree with Candace on that 100%. I wouldn't worry on TCMS or whatever it is.
I want to revert back to what Rye was making a point of. And Ken's really good at this. And this is actually how I made most of my money back in the day, but it is so time consuming. Ken will go into the telegrams and he's got like certain names that have big money. And he I think, Ken, you said before, like this big whale had moved his money from, I can't remember what meme coin into another. And that was like, okay, you know where to go. And that's how I made most of my money in 2018. When I made the most gains that I've ever had, it was literally being in Telegram so much, you'd see a giant group of people and they'd all move to another coin. And it'd still be quiet, but you just get in. And I wouldn't say that necessarily because none of us had enough collectively to pump and dump the thing. But we're like, we're, in essence, though, this coin's going to be the next big thing because it's got hype and stuff like this. Then I think obviously in comes the big pump and dumpers and they see something. But like most meme coins right now, like I use this coin in January. And this just goes to show you, January is still pretty weak market-wise. This coin called Cheddar did a 3,000x run in just under a month. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Money. Okay. This was why I said, okay. And this is dumb. This is how stupid crypto can be. Cause it's like the dumber you think, the more money you can make. Because I go, all right, what's the next cheese coin in line after Cheddar? And sure enough, I find Stilton, but I pull a Ken, I get smart. And I see Stilton run a bit, and I'm like, don't know anything about the devs, don't know anything about it. And then they start showing themselves. I see that this dev's done this and this, and I've got other big names that I know that have jumped in, and usually they've done a more docs type thing. So I jump in Stilton, and like I said, I wrote it at a 30x. But like that was my only, I joked with Rohit today. I said, I've got Kuma up like 5x, I've got Stilton up, God knows what, Root's doing well, and then my main baby, Kitty, hasn't moved a dime. I'm like the one that I've literally done all my research on, that actually not root as well as thing, but like Kuma and stuff was just like, it's a dog coin with a lot of liquidity and stuff like this. SHIB developers, that's good enough for me. It's a meme coin, sure, whatever. I need one dog coin. I need to get in a cheese coin because Cheddar's doing this and da-da-da-da. And they're the ones that are making me money right now, And that just goes to show you who, and like Rye says, they will just cycle in. Cheddar right now is like, it hit 5 cents. It's back below a tenth of a penny now, but it did a 3,000x. So it's like Stilton, most of these coins, maybe even SHIB now, maybe SHIB has sailed. And then all these other little, and Satama had a massive run. So will they hold up and sustain? My guess is no. So you have to unfortunately find the next one. And it's almost like a lottery pick, except for those little things that, like take what Ken says. All these whales moved from this coin to this coin. I know that I've seen the money flow there. Just wait, the pump will happen, right? It's got liquidity. So you can do little subtle things, but in the end, there's that stroke of just dumb luck.
You're
muted, right?
He's not dumb.
Do you think we're ever going to get to a point where this volatility is gone? Given how much retail traders know, one, the amount of power we have, two, how many of us that there are now and growing every day with, simple Robinhood, whatever. And like AMC GameStop had to be halted on the market again because there's stupid little Reddit groups who are like, to the friggin' moon, and they just friggin' blew the price. And it's like, it reminds me of all the, penny stocks, like every weed stock when I started this channel a year and a half ago. It was like every one of them, like 4 or 5x. Half the people in the channel made cash, half of them lost. And it was like these community groups are making no sense half the time, but they're wielding like 10 to 20, 30 billion dollars per tweet. And like no one's picking up on it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, but the problem is with at least on the AMC side and stuff and GameStop and all this is at one point, the little guys were winning the game with GameStop. No pun intended. And then, of course, Robinhood halts trading. I mean, they even did it on Dogecoin. So there was a huge manipulation. They halted trading entirely. So like all the big, stock whales could literally reposition all their stuff and screw the little man. So I mean, it's a different ball game, but I do like that.
Or is it just a smaller community in crypto doing the exact same thing with their community on Telegram or whatever the hell?
Well, you still got pump and dumpers, but at the same time, and don't get me wrong, yes, many people buy the top, but guess what? Like, we're gonna do the same to some people with all the coins we're in. I mean, you guys came into crypto last year and we thought it was gonna be a run, and you might have bought the top on a lot of coins. That's just the way the nature of the beast works. Mm-hmm. And if you're, you got to realize that it's a dog eat dog system. And as long as you got the stomach for it, right? Ride it out, do this. But I mean, at least with crypto, you're in the wild, wild west. What they did was pure manipulation. And at sometimes when we had the edge on these rich oligarchs, with the SEC and all this, they turned the table in their favor. Didn't some GameStop guys got actually, like, they automatically sold their GameStop on them. I mean, they did a lot of really nefarious things to screw them over, Robinhood and all that.
It's just the stock market's version of a rug pull, dude. I really believe that they're just they're both beasts, and it's a two-faced type thing. Like, it's a two-headed beast, but it's the same group, I find.
The difference is one's supposed to be regulated and one's supposed to, like, allow certain rules. Whereas we know in crypto, like, don't get me wrong, yes, in a way it's a rug pull, but and yes, it's by the system. And sure enough, it's a developer that's rug pulling you in crypto, but you know what you're getting into in crypto. You're not like with stocks. You see that there's naked shorts out there on GameStop. You see that it's like all in your favor. All you got to do this, you pull off this master plan, and then Robinhood in collusion with the SEC and all these big guys are screwing you over. And sure, it's technically in a way the same thing, but that's to me, it's like,
the market,
you sign up in crypto knowing what you could get. You don't sign up on the other side to have the people who regulated the thing saying, like, to screw you over in the long
That's
run.
a good point. And I will also say this, though, there has never been the retail amount of trades that have come in since, like, this moment. Right. For instance, Bitcoin was birthed by retail traders. There was not one institutional dollar in Bitcoin. So the volatility follows retail traders. So my logic I'm kind of using here is, if the retail traders have bled so deeply into the stock market, wouldn't it make sense that we are the reason the stock market is going to collapse and is volatility through the friggin' roof, and not the stock market? Because I wonder, those things were already in place well before AMC stopped, when there's certain percentage spikes, all this stuff, right? Like these, right? So I wonder if it's the Bitcoin crypto culture that actually ruined our stock market, and if we're just going to be like this forever now.
I mean, there's definitely, like, because I was following the GameStop Wall Street bets in September, and obviously it crescendoed around like January, right? And then obviously, then all of a sudden you had all these, and I wasn't going to touch stocks with a 10-foot pole because I used to play, the .com era and all this, and it was the wild, wild west in the .com era. I still think that the .com era and what we're seeing in Bitcoin right now is exactly the same. And eventually you'll see a couple, rise out of the cream of will rise to the top type deal. But at the time, what you saw was like a group that knew what they were doing. And then obviously everyone sees what GameStop did. And like you said, then they rush into AMC. And I can't remember, there was even some Canadian plays like Nortel, I think. Like all of a sudden everyone's just trying to, like, and that's when I'm like, this is where everyone gets eaten. But it's the same mentality, like, do I love that I got rug pulled in December? No, but did I know what I was getting with? That normally, like, if I didn't see it coming, like if I was in GameStop late and they did Robinhood screwed me like that and stuff, I'd be in a ball curled for like, in a cold shower for like a month. But with the two rug pulls, I brushed myself off after a day and a half because I was like, well, I knew what I was playing with. I knew the fire I was playing with. I hold myself accountable, learn from my mistakes, dust myself off, and pick myself up because there's money to be made.
So is there value in regulation then? Because obviously you're ticked off.
I think it's coming to whether we want it or not.
Right. But let's ask around the whole table here. So personally, I do not want regulation, because when regulation comes, you make less money. The .com era is my biggest example, because you can make money off pets.com. And then once regulation came, all the fun got sucked out of the .com era. But a lot of scams, a lot of rug pulls, a lot of, pets.com disappeared. I mean, how many .com things just went the way of the dodo, right? But I don't know.
Look at Yahoo.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, hi Ryan. I'm thinking that do you suspect that it's crypto that's manipulating a lot? Is one of the causes of the stock market fluctuation right now so bad?
Of course, man. When is it a normal scenario where Apple fluctuates 6 or 8% and it's a great day? No, that's alarming as hell. If Apple, worth almost $3 trillion, moves 6%, that's alarming. This level of volatility is extremely uncommon, very uncommon. It's been very relevant or prevalent, I guess, since the beginning of COVID because we had the crash, increased volatility. And then right after, you had the insurgence of a brand new retail market because crypto was blowing up. Crypto kind of set the stage for this because it had already emboldened a group of people who were doing trading on their own, active trading. They're managing their own money in their mind. I mean, this was an ultimate set the stage for a retail like FU, like, which is exactly what happened to the stock market. And again, it's the same bad partners. It's the same garbage stocks that don't make any sense. Why is BlackBerry, not Nortel, that's the one you're referencing though, Tim. Like, why would BlackBerry blow up? Why would a friggin' theater company start to buy a gold mine? Well, it's because the retail trader just pumped billions of dollars into their pocket and they don't know what to do with it. So they're literally trying to spend it on things to keep the longevity of a dying movie theater. Like, I think this and it scares me too. This is why I'm putting so much more emphasis on like the indicators as opposed to the feeling, because I think the people who are driving the news, I think, is the retail trader. Nobody, like someone mentioned dark pools, and that's so true, but that doesn't really drive the news. The news tends to be the stupid meme stuff, or what's this guy doing? What's the fear mongering? What's the FUD today? It's all to manipulate the retail trader, not the institutional trader. So the retail trader sitting here shitting his pants half the time, doesn't know what to do. So they go and boom, 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 all over the place. And you're seeing these massive fluctuations. We're seeing PayPal going down, what, 70%? It's freaking PayPal. Let's get over ourselves for a second. Apple dropping through the, I mean, like, look at the stocks that have plummeted and then come back. Shopify, valued at $2,200, now coming to reality around $900. What the hell is going on with people? Again, we pumped, though, all of this money into the economy. A portion went to food. A much larger portion went to gambling and fun and stocks. And then a good portion went to crypto, too. So everything is still propped up a little bit. Everyone's got a bill that will come forward. There is no free lunch at the end of the day. And we've all been living on a free lunch a little bit. I'm not going to speak on individual levels. I mean, as a society thing, the bill's coming. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to because I find myself too much lately trying to play the market. And I just feel like the indicators are speaking for themselves. And I blame this almost entirely on, to get to your question, Tim, retail traders. Almost entirely. That's my opinion.
I mean, I think there's so much money in the stock game that was like, to me, it's whale games both ways. Like, I think whales on the stock side saw what crypto was doing, and they're like, we could do the same in stocks too. I think the stock game is far more rigged. It's been so rigged for so long, and obviously Isaiah touches on that. And like, that was my thing. Like, when I learned about naked shorters and all that in stocks, it was about 2009. I just said, there's no way I'm ever gonna win. You know, because obviously I wasn't picturing to get super rich off stocks, because I knew obviously they weren't going, gangbusters like crypto does. But I was still like, there's just no way that, obviously I could get rich maybe over 50 years or something. But I want, like, the game for the stocks that I was in, the biotechs and all this, was like, I got no way I'm going to go. Whereas at least with crypto, and I'm still not saying it, like I've always said, they're all Ponzi's. I've literally said crypto's a Ponzi too in a way. But at least, like, I can take a contract from crypto. I got a buddy in my chat. I can go, and he's an auditor. He's not the best auditor, so even he's let stuff slip by him. But I'll go, what do you think of this contract? Oh, there's something in the dev contract that allows him to mint more coins and da-da-da-da, which means do not get in this, because he most likely will rug pull at some point. The crypto, graphy and all this and the ledger, the distributed ledgers, this is the one thing that, okay, yes, it's a Ponzi. Yes, it's whale games. Yes, there's massive pump and dumps. But if you're smart enough, you can, like, that's how Ken goes, okay, this wallet's moved from here to here. You have no idea what's happening in the stock market. You don't know where money's coming from, what it's doing, all that. So you can make more of your own individual judgments on.
I get that entirely.
And that's why the SEC wants to regulate it because they want a piece of that pie.
Of course, 100%. And you're right, it is coming. Personally, I don't want it to be, because then that's when the fun for gains goes out the window. And then, of course, CBDCs and all this other crap is going to be coming.
Actually, question for the Tims, for Candace, for Ken, for Brian. Okay, regarding, Pierre Poilievre, he's buying shawarmas with Bitcoin, yada, yada, yada. All cool, right? He has yet to come out. At least I know that he's mentioned the use of Bitcoin and Bitcoin right now. But he constantly says, I want Canada to be the blockchain capital of the world. Blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. And I think that verbiage is really key with politicians, obviously. And then Tim Perry brought this up earlier, about some of the things he's said about Bitcoin long term. I wonder, though, do you think this is almost a freaking trap for Bitcoiners, where let's say you vote for the Pierre Poilievre and he brings in the baddest friggin' CBDC you've ever seen, though, because he's more blockchain as opposed to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe I was getting.
That's my biggest conspiracy theory. But
when you said that, I was like, I'm kind of vibing with that, because he very, very specifically refuses to say Bitcoin in the titles of anything and says blockchain.
Right.
And
I didn't notice that. But yeah, I feel like, we're getting set up to slaughter to that like one world like currency, I don't know how they're going to do it with Bitcoin, because obviously if you've got it on, your hard, oh my God, where's my memory right now? Your hard ledger there, or your oh my God, what's the name of
cold storage?
Cold storage and stuff. Yeah, ledger. But I wanted the name. I was looking for the specific name of the brand, but
Ledger.
It is Ledger, right? Okay, I thought I was nuts there. But anyways, like, how are they going to get that and get it away from you? So it'll be interesting, but I still I don't understand the technology even to a full, we know it's a distributed ledger and it's backed by cryptography, and we understand how you win blocks, but I still feel like with Bitcoin, for some reason, it's no matter what I can say to a normal person, I talk to someone who knows more than I do about Bitcoin, and they blow me away with some sort of inner knowledge, like the Canadian Bitcoiners, obviously they know Bitcoin in and out, right? I may know some DeFi coins and stuff better in and out, but then all of a sudden the technology evolves so fast. And that's another problem with these coins, is you could even be in a really good coin, Thor chain, all this, and then all of a sudden along comes a root. And then is there going to be the next root, right? And the next this and that. So
I think what scares the shit out of the governments is the fact that they only have to deal with fiat money and gold and silver. With crypto, they got so many. It's like a buckshot hitting them.
Yeah.
Well, no, because crypto has
oh
trading
my God,
pair.
I don't understand. Just it's scary.
Crypto has trading pairs. The US dollar has a trading pair with wheat and pork, the whole pig and cows. I don't think it would actually be that much of an issue. I think their issue is that they have no control over it, where if they can get us hooked on a CBDC and say, oh my God, we're adopting blockchain, this is dope, and we're all, the ones who already know about crypto, have been here from the beginning, are like, what the hell? And then the newbies are like, yes, that's what I think is going to happen.
That's a good question. So Ryan Green, would you be all over a CBDC? Would you subscribe to partaking and using a CBDC? Yes or no?
A digital currency, yeah.
By the
for the most part.
Okay. Ryan,
kind of. I have to say just kind of. I understand the purpose of it, because if they could, depending on how they were to properly do it, okay, and how they were to properly back it, it could be a benefit, okay, but it's
I was thinking about the last.
You want to say yes, because you know what, it's going to end up happening regardless, right? And I think proper regulation to a certain degree needs to happen. I'm not a big fan. I've made a couple bucks off of some of these shit coins, but in reality, that's the biggest problem with the crypto market, right? That's at least what I see, right? Because that's what causes this big fear. Because that's what you do hear on the news, right? Is Dogecoin goes up, or Shiba Inu, or Floki, or whatever, right? Or Doge Elon Mars, or something along those lines. That's what kind of drives the people to get into these shit coins. They get rugged, and then it causes this big problem where they get fearful. They don't understand it. They write it off, and they say, screw it. And then the next thing you know, the government's going to walk in, try to implement it, into a CBDC or whatever, and nobody's going to know, right? I think a lot of the thing is when it comes to this blockchain, though, like there's a lot of other things that they could do with it, right? Like Ford has already said that he wants to go digital for ID, right? We already have those certain aspects that they're already talking about, right? So having some sort of
like one question I have for you, like, because I was thinking about this, no word of a lie, 2 days ago tops. I was outside having a smoke. I had just listened to a podcast about this, and I was thinking, I have cash, but it's for a situation I hope to not like encounter. So I don't really think about it or use it. So I was thinking in my head while I was having a smoke, and I just thought, when's the last time I've used cash seriously and relied on cash? And I can't remember. I use a debit card, and then you would say, okay, but hold on, a CBDC would be controlled by the government, yada, yada, yada. We've seen the government through the exchanges confiscate or shut down access to crypto as well. So for me, I don't even know if we don't have a CBDC or whatever. I'm tying my tongue here. I don't even know if we don't really have that right now already. I mean, we tap our debit card, it's digital cash. They spend my deposit with their own digital cash at a 10-to-1 digital margin on products that are provided to them digitally. It's like, what about what we're doing is hard cash anymore anyway? You know what I mean?
It's true.
And when you say though, a CBDC, they could shut down your bank account. I was really afraid of CBDCs until I saw them just do it with fiat anyway. And I'm like, okay, well, we're already here anyway. So this is it. And it is what it is.
Yeah, but the problem is they're going to attach everything to that like CBDC, and you just don't you do not want to know the circumstances of when that happens. And yes,
and the thing is
sorry, go on.
That's it. They'll be able to track every single transaction.
Yep.
Right. Every transaction. You go to Walmart, you spend money, they'll know exactly how much you bought, what you bought, and all that kind of stuff. They know they'll have it right down to a T.
So many people right now are like, you always hear, well, I don't do anything illegal, so I don't care. Like that's their response. When it gets to the point when they're totally invading your privacy, knowing that, and I hate to say, but look at China for reference on social credit systems, where these guys are like, I watched a whole documentary on the incoming AI, and how China has like this crazy system now in some of these cities where they have, number one, they have facial recognition cameras everywhere. And the host did a little thing where he's like, okay, try to find me. And he disappears, and they found him in 10 minutes in the city. And then you factor in, then they did a thing on social credit systems. And this guy had like a garden on the top of his apartment building. And you get points for ratting out people. And of course, you lose points for doing something that is legal. So that his neighbor ratted on him for having an illegal garden on the top of the thing, which, in a just world, you would think that's like the coolest thing to do. And he lost his ability to ride like the transit and stuff. So
is this for real?
Dead serious. I'll find the documentary.
Okay, dude, it's totally.
That's all China right now. Like people have no idea. Like and Singapore's not like that as extent, but like Singapore's dialed into like the blockchain says like their whole cities run on blockchain and all this. The more we trust technology, which the average person has, I don't even have a full understanding of the technology behind it and how it works, but I know what it's doing right now and how further ahead they are and the implications for that as everyone just goes about their world thinking the world's not going to change, but they're 9 steps ahead now, all these people who run this show.
Well, it's the same as Chris Rock wondering why Will Smith was approaching him, and all of a sudden it hit him.
Oh, come on. We made it a whole show.
Almost this close, eh?
Actually, funny thing is, I heard there's now a Will Smith slap coin. It's probably a rug pull.
Yeah, there is. I
saw that too. Oh, they always capitalize on whatever. There's always a coin of that, some crazy thing that happened. But I mean, I won't even go there because celebrity doesn't do anything, and we're literally talking about real shit.
We are getting the ability and the temptation to deal with technology in everything we do. You cannot go anywhere walking, riding your bike, driving without having to integrate with advanced technology. And we don't take it into we don't consider it because it's just normal. It could be a crosswalk. It could be a synchronized set of traffic lights. It could be whatever the case is. We never take it into a consideration, but all of that is learning our behavior.
Absolutely. And to mind trip people, because people always like, obviously the whole crew knows how I am, but like so many of my friends are like, man, you think too much about shit that's never ever going to happen and stuff like that.
It is.
And I'm like, do you know what an algorithm is? And they're like, what's an, I'm like, why is Facebook free? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, and why are they worth billions and billions of dollars right now for a free site? Because your data is worth the most money in the world.
Your human behavior,
yeah,
and the way you answer stuff and take the bait on all of this stuff that's out there.
Oh yeah, all the surveys. Answer all your surveys. I don't touch them.
It's figuring out your trigger points.
Yep.
It's figuring out your mood. It's figuring out. It's probably figuring out how much you're worth.
Yep. It's safe to say that algorithms probably know more about us than we know about ourselves at this point.
Yeah.
And our next moves. And people don't see that coming. And this is what they're using against us now. Like I watched a scary documentary on, and it's really scary because the guys who make some of these algorithms, obviously, if you have, misogynistic, racist tendencies, any of these tendencies, and you create that algorithm or that AI will start showing those biases. So they've showed that actually when we start implementing these algorithms more and more into this technology, minorities will get hit harder. So, I try to warn of all this stuff, right? Yeah, it's a really mind-tripping documentary.
You mean this is actually going to punish, or not punish, but make it worse for people than it already is?
Well, I mean, the whole system's designed to make it worse for the average person now anyways, right? I mean, Trudeau's little speech the other day, it's going to be difficult times for us, but carbon tax on the first, like in a normal common sense world, okay, wait, it's going to be difficult for my people. Maybe I won't add more taxes onto their lives, So, I mean, the system's designed to create the rich and the gap between the rich and the poor now. Like if you can't see that now, and if you're not positioning yourself to learn to, not keep up with the Joneses, save some money, do all that, maybe downsize all this, then you're going to get gobbled up in that middle ground. If you're a millionaire now and you just made all that money off SHIB or whatever, props to you. You're not going to feel this punch, but the average person, me and many of us, are, if we don't adapt and be aware of what's coming, try to at least see 2 steps ahead when they're 10 steps ahead, we're gonna.
Well, as you said before earlier in the cast, that ship has already sailed, right?
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, this ship. I mean, I've got books from 30 years ago that were telling me about how they were going to create a system that they will punish people with accounts. And this was before the debit card was big, because the book says exactly, you'll have a debit card, and if you get out of line, they can just freeze it. That was 1992, that book.
I've seen something about vehicles. So when you go and you buy a brand new vehicle, that they'll have that process. You skip a payment, they'll just lock your vehicle out.
I mean, that's what you could easily do with electric cars, and people don't see that. So there's a double play. They'll use the carbon tax. They're going to say they want this many cars, all your gas cars off by 2030, I think they're saying. And obviously it's going to be a lot easier to control your how many miles you go, because obviously they're going to start doing that. They did it in China. Certain license plates had to drive on different days.
And the more we get the autonomous cars and stuff like that, the more that it freaks me out, because you give it 10 years from now when we've got a lot of autonomous cars on there, and terrorism's going to take on a new look. They're not going to have to bring down a plane. They're just going to have to make a whole bunch of cars on a Los Angeles freeway, do something stupid, or on the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's just everyone's going swimming. You know what I mean?
Hackers can already hack into cars, even the ones that we drive now, because they're integrated with computers. You would actually know that. But I mean, Ryan Green said it earlier about the digital ID system. All these people, actually people are waking up. In all fairness, a lot more people now aren't thinking I'm crazy when I mentioned the World Economic Forum. But you go on the Ontario site for the digital ID system, go down to the footnotes, And it literally says sponsored, or I can't remember exactly, but World Economic Forum. You know, like you can go see all these, you know, there's a guy, I can't remember his name. He talks about transhumanism. He's like Klaus Schwab's right-hand man. And he's talking about hacking people's brains and that people don't, free will is just an illusion. And we don't need to be gods. We don't need to believe in gods anymore because we can now, you know, like this is some shady shit, you know? And all these people are like, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory." Sorry, go Rye.
No. Sorry. Did you see the video going on about the World Economic Forum there? Have you seen the video about the what is it? The global? The World Government Summit that I think happened recently in, I think it was Dubai. And the entire thing was about digital, about trying to get countries into more digital. The World Economic Forum was there, the World Bank, and a bunch of all these people. There was the whole auditorium was filled with all these people, and that's what they were talking about, is going blockchain and going for digital ID systems and pushing that whole digital thing. And they even mentioned how COVID has kind of pushed that. It's the whole using your tap or using your your whole digital thing, no cash.
Well, Redbeard put the name because obviously I couldn't pronounce it, but honestly, YouTube that guy. This is a guy that Klaus Schwab is like right-handed man, and when you listen to that, and obvious also, you know, all these people who think it's just a conspiracy theory. You obviously look, and Trudeau was indoctrined 5 years through the World Economic Forum program, conveniently right before he becomes prime minister. So it's not as crazy as you can think. This is a globalist movement, and corporatocracy has existed for a long time now. And if you don't admit that corporations, you just look at lobbyists right now, you know, like there are lobbyists, you know, that's a shady job in itself. But like the World Economic Forum right now, Klaus Schwab wrote a book, and they have like all their websites, and you can go and they literally talk about, like you said, Tim, autonomous driving cars that will track, so you won't need to drive anymore because but that's all data. And of course, all that data is going to go, so they just know you inside out. And this level of control is on a narcissistic, psychopathic level that normal humans can't, because, you know, my parents who are actually 80, and it turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks. They are now like really starting to believe some of this stuff because they see it in real time. They see the lies. You know, I don't even have to do
this. Okay. I've officially crafted a tinfoil hat. Thing is, it is see-through. You won't be able to see it, but it is on my head at this moment. Wouldn't it make sense, though, if you were a friggin' Bond villain, but also just really being pragmatic as a CEO, for instance? Like, why wouldn't you, like, for instance, Tesla's new robot? Like, if you could fire every single assembly line worker carrying less than 25 to 40 pounds on the planet instantly and never pay a single contribution to retirement ever again, your work productivity rate explodes. Sure, your PR goes through the roof, but why wouldn't they? Tesla making one is like, sure, he's got his own plans for it on Mars or whatever the F is going to happen with him on Mars. But that robot is only the beginning. His little Tesla bot.
100%.
It looks like a human being. And not to mention, he's like, we intentionally made it so that a normal person can outrun it and a normal person can overtake it. It's like, why? That's a real consideration, though, when it is as powerful as a small human being. Yep. So it's like, why wouldn't Amazon fire everyone? Like, unionize on me, and I'm getting robots here tomorrow. Like, trust me.
So Nancy and I watched this documentary, and I for the life of me, I knew I should have had it queued, but it was on the supply chain. It went all the way, started out with truckers and and it showed exactly what we're talking about here, that the distribution centers for Amazon and for the other places, they actually used Amazon, couldn't hire people for the amount of money that they were paying them. And they had these round computers that went on tape markings up and down aisles. And the people, all they needed was one person to walk behind it. And this was an automated picker. Done. And it was just like, we don't have to worry about sick hours. We don't have to worry about WSIB or workman's comp. It's all done.
Oh, they got robots. They got robots. Sorry.
And that's where we're going. I mean, and the people are starting to lead the charge on this. You know, it would be so interesting to see what we don't see out in public that's in the prototype phase. I bet you it would scare the crap out of us.
Well, I remember a guy, one of the CEOs of like Lockheed Martin at the time, I was watching an interview with him, and he said, and this was like the 80s, and he's like, always remember that armies and, you know, all the top level stuff are usually 50, if not more years ahead of the technology that they released, because they want to understand it and they want to control it before they let anybody have a say in it or with it. You know, they want to understand it, or even suppress it. I mean, electric cars have been around for 100 years roughly now.
All we're doing right now is providing the total underlying foundation for what an AI robot would need in 50 years from right now. Yeah. Like a basic robot that can understand exactly what to do in a workplace is going to need to know exactly how people react. It's going to need to know how to move, I mean, you have those Boston Dynamics dogs. Their reaction time's nothing. They're cool as hell. But I think this Tesla robot, I think in my lifetime, we're going to see workforces replaced. And I'm actually kind of psyched 100%. About it because I think it's amazing. But I'm kind of psyched.
I agree with you. If I had a business too, I actually posted something on robots maybe a few years ago, and it was about serving bartending, which I knew well. And like, there's a restaurant in the States now there's a McDonald's in the States that's fully robotic now, but there's a restaurant in New York that basically the whole back of the house, which is the kitchen and stuff, uses robots. And obviously I can tell you from experience, all the humans that steal, inventory that obviously aren't good at their job. So a burger comes out and it's not right, so it goes back, steaks, all this. These robots are cooking a perfect steak exactly how you want it every single time, right? So I don't blame corporations or people who run these things for that. It's what they then want to do with the humans that are now. This is what the metaverse is for, because the metaverse is going to keep all us people, in UBI and stuff like this. But they don't really like. These people are obviously they're going to go what, and this is where I differ from, if I was to sit at the table with all these evil oligarchs, I pretty much agree with a lot of the things they say, other than, okay, well, how can we get rid of these people and make all these human beings' lives miserable so they basically are enslaved by us, type deal through taxes and stuff like that. That's where I draw the line, because it's like, to me, it's like, I know it sounds cheesy, but like if you're a human and you're just making people smile and going out and be a good human being, that says a lot more than just running a corporation these days, which can obviously a lot of these jobs and stuff don't really mean much. So I'm kind of spiritual
down, dude.
What's that?
They already have the biggest 2-year global experiment on what the population does with no access to work.
For sure.
They already know what's happening. So do we not think that this is all an experiment? Like this is exactly how you would conduct a science experiment if you were trying to figure one out. It would last 30 to 50 years. You would test society over different waves of XYZ. There's going to be a cow's butt crack virus in 10 years. It doesn't matter. We're going to come in and out of waves. It'll be, well, this time was a bat banging I don't even know. Who knows what COVID was this time? You know what I mean?
We're going there. We're going there.
No, but I'm just saying, they've already. No, I won't go there. But they already know how people react when they're stuck at home. We had the Great Resignation, where people, for the first time ever, thought, "I don't even need my job." And that's happening in wave 2 right now. And it's like, okay, so I almost wonder, are they prepping us for it, and we're just following along like little mice? And we're like, no, we're voluntarily leaving. We don't need this. And they're like, okay, cool. No severance. Bye. Yeah. I don't know.
So what do you think about the NDP and the Liberals joining forces there?
Well, smart for the Liberals if they want to get done everything they want to get done. And I'm not a Liberal, so I don't want to get too much into that. No,
but they have their whole entire thing is so close. You know what I mean? And their whole platform, UBI, just all of it, right? Sit at home, stay at home, don't do anything, right? That's both parties.
The thing is, we have a very unique turning point coming up in 2024 and 2025. By 2024, you're going to have the brand new presidential election, and that could say a lot given what the numbers are looking like. And in 2025, we're going to have our Canadian election, and you never know what things could happen. I mean, you know what I mean? The world could change overnight, really, in that 2-year period. Or it could be more of the same. I have no clue. I could go down a rabbit hole on that, but I don't want
Well, I think that's a good jumping off point because I don't seriously want to go head to head with going as long as Ken does.
Could I just say one thing just to
Absolutely,
help
Tim. Go ahead.
And then I'll bring it. Omi. Dave Colt asked about Omi, why the nosedive. Obviously, it had a pretty good run for a while if you're just looking at it from a price stance point of view. But I was just talking about this today with obviously way more in the scene VV guys than me. But obviously, VV's tied to Omi and so on and so on. But so far, Omi doesn't quite have that like utility attached to VV. But at the same time, I think because VV right now, like one of my comic books I bought for like $30 is now worth like under the drop price, which is like $6. So there's been a mad exodus of price, appreciation and all that stuff. I think that reflects in the hype because I noticed Omi was going up with the hype of VV. So it just kind of goes hand in hand, I think. It's like we were talking about VeChain with Zilliqa, and there's always partners. Like obviously these are even closer netted, but I think they're going to saturate. My fear is they're going to, although they did do a really nice burn today in that reaction, but I think it will level off. And, one more thing, actually, just to talk about this. I went to a comic store the other day and card store, and I bought my nephew a Pokemon card that was worth like $15 in November. And it's already up to $75.
Oh.
3 months later. So I'm asking this kid, I'm like, what the hell's going on here, man? And then I look up on the wall. I sold my batch of comic books that I had for $400. And there's one comic book from like my batch of 200 and it's $450 along with other ones that I see on the wall that total $5,000. So I'm going, dude, what is happening? And he goes, dude, it's the 3 C's since stuff shut down. Crypto, cards, and comics. I was like, did you say crypto? And all of a sudden, like all the kids are starting to talk about crypto. So I was like, yeah. But like, I don't know what's happening, but like I see VV, like it's just a dip. Like it hit
dude,
that.
You know what happened with VV's an easy one, dude. The second you had that layer 2 migration or whatever the hell, people actually realized it's probably because of the amount of uneducated users. People were like, wait, I still can't cash out my gems? Plummeted. It was like people didn't know that from the get-go or something. And it was like...
And I know Journey's always said too that the kind of the run up also was due to like you couldn't sell. So it was just like they started building their own little system in there where everything's going up. Yeah. But then when the hype, then all of a sudden it was like, I think a couple of weeks ago, it's like, oh, it's going to come out soon and you'll be able to sell soon. And then all of a sudden prices started dropping. There's still no sign of that. I know me, I'm a stubborn SOB. I have tried to win a drop probably 50, 60 times. I've lost count. I've never nailed one, never came close to it. So I've given up now because there's no point when the drops end up going cheaper or the price goes cheaper after the drop anyways. But it's just like the average person's getting screwed by bots and AI type stuff. So a lot of people are probably also I feel like someone like me, I was I started going back into the VV hype, but like if you're like me, and I'm sure there's other people out there who was definitely starting to eye Omi again because it was like, you know what, like this is cool. The fact that I couldn't win one drop has kind of been like, where's the fun for me? So maybe there's people like me and I just gave up and I haven't been paying much attention now.
No, it's true, dude, because it's like without the drop, it's like, I don't actually read comics, bro. That's kind of I kind of feel like talking to them. It's like, I don't actually give a shit about your comic, dude. But if I can't play your drops every day and have fun with the swings, what am I here for? And that's exactly what happened. I peeled out and I haven't even... I've got like 3 comics on there. I'll have to check it out sometime. But
see, I'm a comic nerd, so actually some of these comics I owned previously, so it's cool to buy them, or ones that I always wish I could have read through and through. So it's $6.99. I'm just doing it for passion to read the comic, but I have no I can't get out anyways. I've got $60 left of the 200 I put in, so I might as well buy some comics and read them because I can't sell either. So what does it really matter? Whereas I revert just, to show you then you look at play it to earn games. I know Candace mentioned UFO, and then you got Axie Infinity and stuff like Axie Infinity you said has no value, but it does because people are actually making a lot of money in Axie Infinity. So one day maybe some play to earn games, but at least there's like a passion where you can play the game and you can see, and it's for everybody. Whereas with VV now, it's like you're trapped and it's only for like some people to make money. So I don't know. That's.
Well, that was interesting. Candace, what do you got coming up this week?
Let's see. Tomorrow I have a video that's dropping at exactly 11 a.m. It is all about credit scores. So everything you want to know, how they work, how to fix them. It's coming out tomorrow. Saturday night, I'm going to do a 1-hour live stream. It's going to be something a little bit different than I've been doing before.
Okay.
So you'll have to check in and see that. And Sunday, we'll have my Twitch stream.
Yep.
Finance and gaming. I'll play a game and we'll talk about finance.
Perfect. Mr. Green, what do you got cooking this week?
How not to get scammed.
What are we going to do every day? Try not to get scammed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about it. That's what I'm going to be working on.
Cool. Hi, Rye. What's going? Market
huge.
close. The huge. Yeah. Guest appearances by Eddie.
He's been really freaking good lately, thankfully. He's growing up, man.
Except when you're on Ken's and he whines at you.
Sometimes.
Ken, I know what the answer is, but what do you got going on this week?
I don't know yet. You'll have to tune in to find out. There you
Banana
go.
coins, man. That's what's going
There
on. You
you
got
go.
banana coins coming at your butt.
There you go.
Monday. Hey, I just took a look, and a lot of the big YouTubers are starting to cover it. So,
Oh boy.
It's a good sign.
it could
Oh,
be a
boy.
golden one. I don't know.
And I thought you were going on your walkabout, Mr. Perry.
I will see Ryan in approximately 1 week and a day, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm going to have some real drinks in person with Ryan. He's
Okay,
great.
Oh,
Text
dear.
me, though, so I have your
Let me
report
s-
when you're on your way.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
gonna
live
be. It's
stream
most
when
likely
you're
gonna
out
be Thursday, but he's gonna save me some money from this expensive trip, and then we'll get some good. Hopefully, Ryan doesn't make it a too late of a night on me, and I got to drive the next 13 hours, but we'll see.
Where
But-
are you?
Ouch.
Yeah.
What's that?
Ouch.
Dave, Omi is supposed, or Vivi's supposed to have a lottery coming. This is what Journey keeps telling me. It was supposed to be like a month ago for people like me who can't win a draw. So
Well, I appreciate everyone's contribution tonight. For those of you who have just tuned in, we're ending the show now. But thanks for coming in for the last little
Catch us on the
wrap up.
replay.
And everyone have a good week, and we will see you next week. Hola. Hola?
Peace.
That's wrong.
Hot dogs.
Hot dog. Hot dog. We're still live. I haven't hit the button yet. How
You
come
son
no
of a
one
bitch.
got-
because
Come on.